In this video, I'm going to discuss a BTO project that I predict will be one of the top contenders in the upcoming October 2026 BTO launch. We will discuss the estimated price, the location analysis, as well as my brutal take of what I think are the pros and cons of this project. So make sure you stay tuned until the end. So the land plot that will be released in October is this giant plot next to Caldecott MRT station. This is a mega project because it will host more than 1,400 units. It will have 260 units of community care apartment, 590 units of two-room flexi, and 580 units of four-room flats. Now, interestingly, if you notice, there will be even more two-room flexi than four-room flats, and this is a good sign, meaning that HDB is consistent with its plan to increase the supply of two-room flexi flats, especially for singles and seniors. In terms of on-site facilities, this project will come with a food court, supermarket, fast food restaurants, several shops, preschool, residence network center, and also active aging center. Now, if you feel that this land plot looks familiar, well, you're not wrong. Why? Because the land plot opposite it was launched back in July 2025 under Toa Payoh SN. If you recall, back in July of 2025, Toa Payoh SN was launched as a prime project with 11% subsidy recovery percentage. Because the location is very near to this upcoming BTO project in October, I do believe that this Toa Payoh BTO will also be classified as prime projects. Regarding the subsidy recovery percentage though, I'm not so sure whether it will still be 11% or something higher, maybe 12% or even, 13%. If you're wondering how much would the price be, well, let's take a look at Toa Payoh SN price as a reference. So back then, two-room flexi starts from $212,000 up to $354,000, and then for three-room flat, the price starts from $406,000 up to $514,000, while four-room flat starts from $583,000 up to $777,000. I remember that this Toa Payoh SN was heavily oversubscribed. It's very popular among the applicants. So I'm guessing this upcoming Toa Payoh project will also get a very enthusiastic response from the applicants. So do expect this project to be quite competitive. Now let's take a closer look of the location. So according to the map from HDB, this would be the land plot for this upcoming BTO in October 2026. And as you can see, it is really near Caldecott MRT station, definitely within walking distance. And I think as far as I remember, Caldecott MRT station is underground, right? So this actually gives the best of both worlds because you will be near an MRT station, but then you don't have to worry about the noise of the train passing by. So I think that's excellent. And then if you feel that this location is very familiar, you're not wrong because Toa Payoh SN is just across the street. So this BTO was launched back in July 2025. And then this one is going to be launched in October 2026, but only at the upper portion, yeah. The bottom portion, according to the HDB map, is allocated as a new mixed-use development. So I'm guessing that it will be basically a condo, maybe with shopping mall at the lower portion. If that's the case, then actually it's excellent because one of the things that is lacking in this area is amenities within walking distance. So if there is going to be shopping mall just next to the BTO, this would definitely help to boost the convenience when you live here, as well as the potential resale value somewhere down the line if you want to sell your flat after MOP. Now, speaking about amenities, if you look at the map, you can simply take a short bus ride away if you want to go to Toa Payoh town center, basically, where you can find malls and more shops and amenities. And then if I zoom out a little bit further out, you see this huge land plot. This is basically the upcoming Toa Payoh integrated development. So according to the press release, this development will include a stadium, badminton courts, aquatic center, etc. But then on top of that, it will also have the new Toa Payoh Polyclinic, library, among other recreational and and community facilities. So if we look at how popular Tampines one is right now, I think the concept will be somewhat similar to that. So yeah, that would be additional amenities if you want to apply for this upcoming October BTO. Now if I scroll to the other side, as you can see, Mount Alvernia Hospital is also nearby. And then further out, you can see the Makrice Reservoir Park here. So that's good news if you like active lifestyle. Now speaking about school options, as you can see, Marymount Convent School is over here. And then you also have this SGI International School, CHIJ Primary Toa Payoh, and also CHIJ Secondary School. So definitely there are several school options nearby. Some of them are top schools. So I think that will be good as well for your resale value. Now speaking about resale value, we already mentioned that this land plot is near several other existing BTO, right? So this one is Toa Payoh Ridge. The one that I've mentioned is classified as a standard BTO and it's relatively young. Now the BTO next door, Toa Payoh Crest, is older, so this would not be a head-to-head competition with this upcoming Caldecott BTO for October. Speaking about amenities, as you can see within walking distance, you can also find the Toa Payoh West Market and Food Center. I do want to point out that probably one of the risks of staying here is that the timeline for the mixed-use development is not announced yet. So there's a possibility if, let's say, the BTO is already completed, but then the mixed-use development is not yet developed or still in progress, which means that you might have to deal with construction dust and noise somewhere down the line, depending on the timeline for the mixed-use development. So that's the watch out. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of the project. So definitely, I love that it is within walking distance to Caldecott MRT station. And by the way, Caldecott MRT station is actually serving two lines, right? It is serving the Circle Line and also the Thomson East Line. So that would mean that for people who want to travel around the town, so that means that it will be very helpful for you to venture out in Singapore because you have more options. And actually, it will be good for the potential resale value later on because typically, any development that is near an MRT station that is serving multiple lines tends to be more desirable for future buyers. So that's excellent. And then I also love that the government already announced that the land plot next door will be a mixed-use development, even though we don't know the timeline, but it is still a good news. Nevertheless, most likely it will be a condo with a shopping mall at the lower portion. If that's true, then that will definitely be a good amenities boost for the area. Another thing that I like about this development is clearly it has a very strong resale potential. Most likely you would be able to sell a forum flat on high floor more than $1 million in the future. And I believe that you should have no issue renting out rooms. Remember that this project will be classified as a prime. So you cannot rent out the whole flat even after MOP, and what you can do is just rent out rooms. Another thing that I appreciate is that there are good amenities within short bus ride away, such as the Toa Payoh Town Center, Toa Payoh Integrated Development, Mount Alvernia Hospital, Makrice Reservoir, etc. So as long as you are okay to venture out either by MRT or by bus, there are amenities nearby. And for young family, you would be happy to know that there are some school options nearby. And furthermore, some of the schools nearby are relatively popular, which is always good news for resale value, even if you don't have young children yourself. Another thing that I like about this project is that it will have 1600 units plus. So that would mean that this is a mega project. It's typically very good for a future resale value benchmark. So even though it is near a young BTO, but hopefully because it has so many units, it will still be very competitive when you want to sell it in the open market later on after MOP. Now, on the other hand, what are the things that you need to watch out? So I think number one, the reality is this land plot is just across the Toa Payoh Ridge, which is a young BTO with standard classification. It will be one of your competition when you want to sell your flat later down the line, right? Because Toa Payoh Ridge, they only have 5-year MOP, and then there's no restriction to rent out the whole flat after MOP, no income ceiling for future resale buyers, etc. So definitely that would have some impact in how you can set your resale value down the line. Another thing that I don't like about this plot would be the entry price is kind of high. So if we use Toa Payoh Ascent pricing as a reference, most likely this Caldecott BTO will be priced slightly higher above that, right? So meaning a 4-room flat in this development most likely will be offered a starting somewhere under $600,000, which is kind of high. But then again, the potential resale value is very strong as well. Another downside would be obviously it will be categorized as a prime because Toa Payoh Ascent is a prime, so it only makes sense for this upcoming Caldecott BTO to be assigned as a prime project as well. There will be subsidy clawback, but then at the end of the day, it is already part of Singapore's BTO reality, right? If you want to get a flat in strategic location, it will either be assigned as a plus or prime project. It is what it is. Another downside is assuming that this project will be as popular as Toa Payoh Ascent or even more popular, then you can expect to have a very high application rate for this BTO. And then another watch out is that construction noise is something that you might have to deal with depending on the timeline for the mixed-use development. So if the mixed-use development will be developed maybe 1 or 2 years difference with the BTO, then that's good. But then if, let's say, the mixed-use development only starts to be developed after your BTO is ready, then you have to deal with the construction noise and also the dust. That's the reality. So in summary, I actually really like this land plot. And for me, the fact that it will be near a new mixed-use development changes everything. Because I remember when I was discussing Toa Payoh Ascent, one of the notes that I have is that there are very limited amenities within walking distance, unless you want to take a bus ride or MRT ride. But if there's a mall coming, that will be excellent, right? And also the fact that it is really within walking distance to Caldecott MRT station, that's also an excellent point. Don't forget that Caldecott MRT station, and don't forget that Caldecott is underground. So you don't have to worry about like train noises passing by because Caldecott is underground, so that's also good. Another strong point would be that it is near several popular schools. Typically, that would be very good for future resale value later on. But overall, I think this is a project that is very appealing. If you like Toa Payoh Town, I highly recommend to apply to this project. Location is excellent, so highly recommended. To support my work, you can give a one-time tip by pressing the thanks button, pick the amount that you want, and click buy and send. Or you can also press the join button for exclusive contents and monthly membership. Your support means a lot to keep us independent. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!